Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of my live tea tasting. I've got an exciting blend for you guys today, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Now today I'm doing a brand that I've never done before, at least on stream. I don't believe so. Nothing comes off the top of my head, but it's one, if never, then one that I rarely do. But I'm doing one from TheCommuni-Teas. This is one that I had found in Seattle. And, they smelled really, really nice in the store. So I'm going to go ahead and start my review and see how this goes. So tonight's blend, package is a little confusing. The title of it is on the back side. It's called Cheer Me Up. So this one is going to be a really complex, Sneha, welcome. It's going to be a really complex flavor because there's so much stuff in it that I don't even know where to begin. So let's talk about the ingredients. This is going to be, it's got marigold, cornflower, hibiscus, blue mallow blossom, safflower, rose petals, rose hips, tulsi, peppermint leaves, lemongrass, raspberry, and orange extract. Hey Ma, welcome! Yeah, you can tell this is going to be a really... Kira, welcome! Yes, you made it, I'm glad. So this is going to be a very complex blend. This is actually not a tea at all, but an herbal blend because it's got no actual tea in it. This is all Camellia sinensis. There is no Camellia sinensis. So right off the bat, I'm going to talk a little bit about the scent. It's extremely floral. There's a lot of flowers going on, as you can tell. I mean, the flowers alone, you have marigold, cornflower, hibiscus, blue mallow blossom, safflower, rose petals, and rose hips. Now, the difference between the rose petals and the rose hips, you have the leaf part is the petal, obviously, and the hip is the bud portion of it. Like the little green part, that's in there as well. Sometimes when before the blossom opens up, Cap, welcome. I caught you this time. So when when the bud opens up, you have like the round part on the bottom and it's all green or it hasn't blossomed yet. That's known as the rose hip. The tulsi is a green leaf, kind of like a plant. It's an herb. Then you have the peppermint leaves, lemongrass, and yeah, that's it for the flowers. But you see there's a huge list of flowers in comparison to the other ingredients, where you have actual raspberry and I thought I saw something before. Yeah, the orange extract. Those are the only two other ingredients. So this is a very floral blend. And I can see where they were going for the name of it because this is a very fragrant and a very it's a very fragrant and a very mellow kind of blend. You're not gonna have Tulsi is cultivated for religious, traditional medicine purposes, and it is and for essential oil. It's widely used as an herbal tea, commonly in Ayurveda. I always struggle with that word. Ayurveda that has a place within the. Why are you giving me all these really difficult words to pronounce? Hold on, it's giving me. There we go. Come on, there we go. Ayurveda with Vashivana. Why are you doing this to me? Tradition of Hinduism, which devotees perform worship involving holy basil plants or leaves. Yes, that is a benefit of Tulsi, and a mouthful on top of that. But you see, a lot of these flowers have very spiritual meaning. They were talking about how blue mallow blossoms signify. Yeah, I know that. I was having trouble. You can see. It signifies peace, and it signifies a sort of centering of the spirit. So this blend is made specifically to relax and to give you a. That's what a good partner does. Messes me up on screen. Yeah, I know. Uh, the the blend is meant to be relaxing and peaceful, and to give you a solemn state of mind where you can concentrate and it revives your spirit. That's why the name Cheer Me Up is indicative of that. Now, since there is no tea in this blend, there is essentially no caffeine. There aren't any. There are very few herbs that actually have caffeine, and there's nothing in here that has that. So it's going to aim to give you a kind of relaxation and peace of mind kind of flavor. So all of that being said, and it's already 6 minutes into my stream, I haven't even sipped it yet, so we're gonna go right into this right away. Ooh, now right away, you get a lot of the floral. Very, like, I can smell some of the citrus, but it's not very present in the odor. Right now I'm getting a lot of the tulsi, which is strange because it's a little bit lower on the ingredient scale. But tulsi itself is a very potent, herb. You said tulsi is commonly known as basil in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, I wish they would have said basil. But yeah, it's essentially that's what gives it that savory smell that really kind of kicks above everything else. I smell a lot of the flowers. Very little of the peppermint, but it is there. It's kind of got a saucy, savory tone to it, which I can really appreciate because that's something that I don't really get in a lot of teas, but in this one it's very potent. And there's very little peppermint. Like, I'm not getting a whole lot of peppermint flavor out of this, which is surprising because peppermint is usually like a really strong fragrance. So I'm going to go ahead and take my first sip. Okay, there it is. I'm tasting, once you taste, you get more of the berry. You get the orange and you get the raspberry. It's stronger in taste than it is in scent. I still get the basil behind it. I still get the floral components, but it kind of takes a back seat, which is interesting because the major part of tasting is smell. Like, I believe it's 80% of taste is smell. So I would imagine smelling the vegetal savoriness of the basil is gonna replace what I don't get from the berries. But it's exactly the opposite. Like, I'm getting more of the berry in taste than I am in scent, and that's an interesting twist I wasn't expecting. I'm gonna take another sip. Ooh, this is really hot. It's very smooth. Like, the basil gives it a nice base for the citrus to stand out on, because you're getting just the raspberry and the orange. That is, I think that in the taste, that's really what's culminating and dominating the flavor palette, because for some reason, like, it's very, very low key in the scent. I'm getting, like, it's very smooth going down. I think that this would actually be really good as an iced blend. And you'll notice that I'm taking a sniff before I take a sip, because it helps you appreciate the taste even more. I'm gonna wait until this cools down a little bit before I do the Thomas taste. Because that way I'll be able to savor it on my tongue a little bit longer. Right now, this is too hot to keep in there too long. Mm. It also has this really nice way that it coats the roof of my mouth as well. Like it goes straight into the back of your throat and it stays there. So that as you breathe, you taste it over and over again. You say you're not sure you'd like the orange and raspberry combo in the tea with all the flowers. It's actually surprisingly different from what you'd expect because flavor-wise, you're getting very little of the flower. You're getting a lot more of the citrus over the floral. I mean, the floral is there, and it's prevalent, and I think that it was kind of designed that way because floral tones in taste tend to uplift citrus and fruits, because florals are very light in general. Now I want to talk a little bit about how this tea looks because it's kind of fascinating. It's actually a really beautiful, colorful tea. Now, as you can see, kind of showing both cameras, that you have lots of yellows, you have lots of reds, you have browns, very little bit of blue. I don't know if it's showing up. Let me pull out. That's the blue cornflower right there. I can't get it. Oh, I got the wrong one. Yeah, it's really difficult to pull just one leaf. I think I got it. There we go. Okay, so it's very blurry, you can see, but it still has that blue overtone. It's really hard because it's like super tiny. But it's in there, and it adds to the color palette that just pops. It looks like a beautiful tea, and that's something that I tend to look for. Was this a fresh cuppa, no ice today? No, the ice was only for last month, but since we're bringing in we're bringing in August, I'm putting that aside for now. I'll probably do it again sometime, maybe in the next couple of weeks, if I can find a flavor that compels me to do it, or next year. We'll see, because I like to concentrate on one tea at a time, and it was a little bit more difficult to concentrate going one at the time. So what does the tea color look like? Well, like as I mentioned before, there's a lot of earthy tones and colors that pop. So you have blues, you have yellows, you have browns, you have reds. You've got a lot of nice. It's a nice color spectrum, which I really appreciate because you have so many teas that are just taste driven and not visually appealing. Because a lot of black teas, you have just brown leaves and that's it, you know, and there's nothing really to tantalize the visual. So you put it in, you drink it, and you enjoy the taste. This, on the other hand, is very colorful, very flowery. Is it me or is the video keep freezing? Never mind, Mike said it. I don't know what I said, but I'm glad I did. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, so I'm noticing something now that it's cooled off a little bit. I'm getting more of the mint as it starts to as the temperature starts to go down, which is, I kind of expected that because as temperatures cool, you get more flavor. And this being an herbal blend, you can steep it at the heavier, higher temperatures to get all the flavors out. Because generally flowers are really hard to steep unless it's hot water. If you're going to cold steep an iced tea, I would recommend leaving it, instead of either putting it in the fridge overnight, I would leave it out overnight so that it helps the steeping process, and then put it in the fridge during the day. A nice 24 to 48 hour period of its steeping should get all of it if you're going to do it cold. If you do it hot, you can do it for about 10 minutes or up to an hour. You shouldn't have a problem with that. And then add the ice and sweetener as you see fit, because it's really difficult to cold steep a flowery tea. But when you get the right amount of flavor out of the leaves and out of the petals and out of all that, you are rewarded with an amazing iced tea. Oh, that was nice. I just did the Thomas taste. And for those of you who don't know, the Thomas taste is one of my friends, Thomas. He recommends that as you drink it, you hold it in your mouth for a second, then you swallow and breathe out of the nose. So the flavor does its whole rounds. And it does add a couple new things. Doing that just now, it really brought out the mint a lot more than just sipping. And the mint is playing along with the citrus really well. And the flower base is giving it a good pedestal to stand on. It's a kind of a complex flavor, and I like it a lot. I wasn't really expecting to do like a completely herbal blend today, but I'm glad, because last month I went tea, herbal tea, and I was able to switch. But now that we're out of that and we're into August, herbal teas are really great in the summer. So keeping up in that tradition of trying to get teas that you'd appreciate for the season, this is actually an excellent example, because there's so much going on. But you can learn to appreciate the little things as you progress in the flavor palette. And now it's like I'm getting a lot more of the flower also that I wasn't getting before. It's an interesting sensation. I don't know if it's because I'm talking, but it's kind of prevalent more now on the sides of my tongue rather than the center, and it might just be the way that I'm breathing. But normally when you have something like a peppermint tea and it's strong enough, it encompasses the entire mouth. And as you breathe, it just gets everywhere. I mean, I guess that's why toothpaste has minty flavors, because it's very prevalent and it spreads out, and it's cool in both the temperature and just the rhetoric of it. I really like where this is going, because it's not just a single simple tone. Every time I drink a little bit and I think about it, it's bringing out another layer of flavor. Teresa, welcome. It's bringing out another layer. It just seems to be peeling back all the way flowers often do when you have the bud and then you just peel it back and it reveals layer after layer. I'm getting that kind of a sensation with this blend, because it's very well mixed, and very little. There's very little that is up front. Like I had mentioned before, how you had smelled the tulsi, you had smelled the flowers, but very little fruit. Then after tasting it, there's more fruit than flower. But now there's more mint than flower. There's still more fruit than mint, but then there's mint and flower. And it's really hard to describe, because it keeps kind of moving. The flavor palette keeps on changing, and I'm really enjoying that. Now, there was a joke that I had made about a different blend that had basil in it, and that joke was that it was essentially pizza sauce. I'm getting kind of that flavor that I don't want to say salty, but that savory herbal blend in a very light manner, and it plays well with everything else that's going on. And it's I'm going. I don't remember if I actually did that. There was a white strawberry basil, I believe. I don't think I streamed it yet. I should one of these days. We'll see. But it had a very strong, sweet pizza-like flavor, and it was good. I have to admit they did a good job with that blend. It's unexpected, but really, really nice. Oh, let me show you guys also what it looks like after it's steeped. You see a lot of it. Whoops. A lot of it remains still colorful, not as much, because after it, I'm making a little bit of a mess. After it has all the water in it, it tends to darken the colors, it tends to saturate everything else and mix it all together. But you'll probably notice, here I'll bring it a little closer, there's not a whole lot of difference in the size, because the way that it's developed, you drink it as is. It's only dried. There's very little to the process of making an herbal blend. As far as like heating and processing, a lot of it is just cutting, drying, mixing, and then shipping it out, which is great because you get it fresh that way. So you'll see that there's very little change in the actual form of it. So I'm going to go ahead and now open up the floor. Questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, now's the time to bring it up. In the meantime, I'll bring up Teresa's question. What would I pair this with? Food-wise, it's going to be a little bit difficult because it's a nice, right straight down the middle. Ratings? Okay, I'll give it a rating after this question. But it's like right down the middle between savory and sweet. So I think that this can balance well with a nice pasta. I guess because of the basil. I don't know why. Like the taste of pasta is just a little bit in my mouth, just slightly. And it really brings out the. I barely finished the cup because I spent so much time talking about the blend. And I like this tea a lot. But I've spent so much time talking about the blend and the flavor that it's actually I'm surprised by it. It's actually really, really nice, and I'm getting kind of like a little bit of a cereal flavor too, like a Fruity Pebbles kind of taste to it. I like it. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that I like it, but I'm surprised by how complex the blend is. But yeah, if I were to give it a rating, I would give it I'll give it a 4.5. 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 teacups out of 5. The only thing that I would improve, it could use a little bit of kick in the fruit department, but other than that, yeah, I'm good. So other things that I would pair this with, I would give it a nice light, maybe a baked chicken, or a salad, something like that. Something that can balance things off a little bit. But yeah, I like it. Okay, questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, now's the time. I don't have a whole lot of announcements off the top of my head. This weekend we will not be having the tea party. I'll probably schedule it for the weekend after. We'll see, because next week is going to be a big week for me. I don't know if you guys had noticed, but I don't know if you guys know, but I had recently lost my job due to COVID, but I am starting a new one this coming Monday, so hooray! So I'm going to see how the week goes. Salad with meat inside, I would imagine so. Like it does have that nice balance. Um, so I think it can handle having a light meat, maybe not like a steak salad. That might be slightly too heavy, unless you go light on the steak. But that would definitely it would definitely pair well with this. Is this a morning or an afternoon tea? Cap, your question. Oh, and thanks, I appreciate that. Honestly, I would say a more afternoon into the evening tea. Like it's the kind of tea that if you're having a tough day, you drink a little bit of this, and the fragrance will help ease your mind a little bit since it's not caffeinated. Depending on people's sensitivity to caffeine, I would say go to the end of it. You can drink this by the end of the night and have no problem sleeping. This might actually help you sleep because peppermint tends to do that. Peppermint and lemongrass are really good at helping people drink. I mean, helping people sleep. Sorry. Will I be working regular hours? I believe so. I'm going to be training, and there's going to be like 2 different shifts. There's 8 to 4 and 9 to 5. Starting out, I'll be 9 to 5 because of the training, but I don't know what my hours will be going forward. So I'm actually hoping for the 8 to 4 because that's the schedule I'm used to. But yeah, so fingers crossed, we'll see. And would this go well with tuna? That is a tough one. Probably not, because a fishy blend. Fish and fruit don't really go well together. Fish and fruit, it's kind of like it could be kind of iffy depending on the pungency of the fish. Yeah, I would not pair it with tuna. We'll see. I mean, I've been wrong before, plenty of times, and I've found out the hard way. But it is what it is. Do I have any other announcements? Not off the top of my head. Keep in mind, I do have the community catalog still out. I did email a couple people, so if you are interested in looking at some community merchandise, be my guest. Let me know. I'll send you the catalog. It'll come by email, and then we'll take it from there. I think that's about it, though. I don't know. I'm things are a little bit on the slow end at the moment, so we'll see. I'm getting. This is interesting, and you're probably gonna look at me and scratch your head because it's gonna make no sense. But as I took that last sip, I had a tiny, tiny hint of cigarette smoke, and I was not expecting that. It's like just a little bit. Like I sniffed it, and I had some like the idea of, is somebody smoking outside? But then it was gone as soon as I breathed out. So that kind of caught me off guard there. And I think it's probably because I had a nice hit of the basil with the peppermint. That's probably what did it. But I'm not getting a whole lot of Pops, welcome. I see you just popped in there. I'm getting a whole lot of the tulsi of it. And right now, the tulsi and the fruit are fighting for attention. That's interesting. I like the surprise of it. However, if it became a prevalent taste, it would not be as it wouldn't be as enjoying to me. I don't like cigarette smoke, and I have had teas that do taste. They actually had tobacco in it. Yerba mate sometimes has tobacco blended into it, and it gives it a smoky kind of flavor, which I wasn't a huge fan at the time, but I learned to Shanna, welcome. I learned to appreciate it. So I'll say that much. You never want to assume anything about a tea until you give it a fair chance. Mm. Oh, that is really good. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up tonight's blend. Once again, this was Cheer Me Up from Steepology. And I'll see if I can find, I'm sure there is a website, a link for it, so I'll link it in there for you guys if you're interested. I do highly recommend it. It tastes really, really nice. So if there's anything else, I guess we're done for the day. So have a great weekend, a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.